that I keep getting across is, David, what changed from game 1 to game 2 and game 3? What changed? What switch was flipped? What happened? What is your answer to that?
I think our guys understanding we left a lot out there that we could control in game 1, and we were able to see that on tape. And obviously that matchup of how we matched up against them and their personnel and all those things. And so even though that was a disappointing day, I think our players had the right mindset, and I think that it was really evident that, hey, we just got to put this together and do it. And, we've been able to do that the last couple of weeks. But I just think that belief of seeing it in game and knowing that there was truly a lot there that we should have made and we expect to make, and we just didn't get it done that day. I just think in a weird sort of way it almost built confidence just from seeing that on tape. And that's kind of on top of what we've been seeing all along in fall camp and us getting better and improving, and we're older and we've got a core of players that we really feel good about, and so I think just all that combination has kind of led us up to this point.
You put it all in one play, but kind of feels like the pressure had been building into a big balloon, and then that pass to Wesco, it popped. All the pressure seemed, everybody was like, hey, we can do this. It's off.
Yeah. Obviously that was a huge play, beginning of the game, and to kind of just blow the top off, as we all know we'd like to do. And, from that, I think our guys just gained a lot of confidence, but that play was certainly a big piece of it, no question.
What's it like as a coach to see that moment, like you talked about, of being able to show your guys on that film in Georgia, and then to see that process and see it click for them? What's that like for you as a coach, as a coordinator, as you're trying to lead these men?
It's awesome to see, because it just tells you as a coach that your players, they believe in themselves and they kind of believe in what you're doing, and they believe in the coaches that are here. And I think our staff's doing a great job in teaching and being hard on our guys and holding them accountable. I think that's where we've taken a step as well as coaches. But, yeah, anytime you see your players go through some stuff, through adversity, and persevere through it, so to speak, that's always going to be a gratifying thing to see as a coach. And so we just got to continue to make it consistent, and that's been our whole message now, from the app week to NC State and obviously against Stanford, is we got to be consistent performers out there on our unit.
Dabo put it yesterday that these explosive plays are coming from success, and you can build on them from it. Has the book just kind of flopped open now because of that confidence in what these guys have been able to see in themselves?
A little bit. Anytime that you're executing at a higher rate, it's going to allow you to maybe be a little more aggressive or do some things that that your guys are kind of in the zone, they're in the groove, and you just feel better and more confident about them executing. So anytime, whatever offense you're running, if you're executing at a higher rate, you're probably going to feel more comfortable to do some of that and open it up. So, that's what you're kind of seeing right now.
What's your perspective on the second year in a system and how integral that has been toward everybody being more cohesive all around?
I can't put into words how important that is, and the average Joe just isn't going to understand how important that is. For your players just to understand philosophically what you're about, obviously the ins and outs and the detail that everything requires, your staff, them knowing how to teach it, being convicted about it, and knowing how to adapt and attack and how to make adjustments in game probably better too. So just all of those things are monumental for us, and I knew it would be, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of success of us obviously kind of settling in.
How would you quantify Matt Luke's impact on the offensive line, kind of where they're at right now?
Yeah, it's a unit that's playing well. We're running the ball and protecting the quarterback, and from a lot of things that they do up front in terms of IDs and being on the right guys and all those things. They have a hard job, but they're doing that stuff at a high rate, and obviously I think they're playing with a great deal of passion and intensity up there, and it's a group that has definitely got a ton of belief and confidence right now. So he's done a tremendous job, and so is Coach Spiller. Those guys go hand in hand with pass protection and all those things, and certainly in the run game. But, I just think collectively as a staff, I've been pleased.
When you think back to last last year and the guard tackle counters and pulls and such, comparing that to now, what you've seen over the last 3 games with your guys, how much better is it? How much more precise?
Yeah, we're just more consistent with everything we're doing up front, you know, and that's the biggest deal for us offensively is we got to be consistent. There's flashes of it last year where, to your question, some of the counter stuff was good, and there's the times where it was not. And so, again, it's just how can we build consistent performance. But, again, I think that group's shown a lot of progress and a lot of signs. Not that they got it all figured out up front, but they're certainly doing a lot of great things.
Talk about taking a top all defenses. Were the vertical routes there for Cade to throw? We just didn't see it, or he didn't take the shot, or is he taking more shots now, or is it really just calling more plays that allow you to take top all defense?
I mean, there's always been a lot of opportunity to do it. You know, since I've been here, I mean, there's been a lot of opportunity for that. I mean, that's kind of our passing game in a nutshell is being able to do that at any moment. I just think everything in the last couple of weeks has kind of just come together more. The protection's better. People are winning. You know, people are being in the right spots at a higher rate. And so, again, it's not just one thing. When you say, hey, can we just throw it deep? Like, there's a lot of things I got to go right and go together with that. But, again, us doing things at a higher rate is kind of allowing more of that and more of that opportunity as you've seen the last couple of weeks.
I guess a 30-yard touchdown to Antonio last week, the scramble. Was that both a scramble drill and a scramble route, or was the route designed to break off?
That was part of the design, his route, but it did turn into a scramble play for Cade. So, yeah, those guys made a great play just getting out and trying to extend the play, and you know, Antonio ran a heck of a route. So it wasn't exactly how we designed and thought it was going to work out that way, but like I said, Cade got into scramble and made a play.
Did that, plus some other instances of Cade get pressured and having the right reaction and footwork, does that encapsulate how far, or what he wasn't last year, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly grown. I mean, there's no question about it. And collectively, we're doing things at a higher rate that allows a quarterback to maybe grow at that how we've seen the last few weeks. You know, I mean, if we're not all doing things at a high rate, it's going to be hard for your quarterback to probably, you know, dramatically improve. And so, you know, I just attribute his growth to a lot of the stuff that he's done individually and the work that he's put in, but I also attribute it to what we're doing around him.
Watching the film with Dabo, he said Cade's not allowing the game to speed him up, and that's one of the biggest differences. Is that something you've been coaching, or is that, I mean, how do you work with him on that?
I think you're always mindful and kind of talking about it, right? I mean, anytime we're in there watching practice tape or reviewing the game film, is you're always going to talk through those quarterback items and just try and guide them the best you can. You know, is that more important than him just going through it and learning and maturing himself? I don't know. You know, so I think the combination of that is you know, hopefully positioning himself to be better and better in that area.
You talk about this growth that Cade has had. Is there anything specific you'd like to see him take the next step on in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement, and I'm quickly to let him know every day that he doesn't have it all figured out either. You know, but yeah, I mean, you know, he's been really playing well last 2 weeks, but there's certainly things that he can still improve on. We left a little meat on the bone there the other day. I thought we had a few other opportunities to go get a couple more touchdowns, you know, in the NC State game. But listen, he's doing some great stuff. We just got to continue and know we're not always going to be up 28-0 in the first quarter. I mean, I hope so, but that's probably not going to happen every single game. So we got to continue to improve.
Has that kind of been an emphasis for the offense over these past for the season? You guys trying to get out to early starts to build like a big lead?
You're always looking to start fast. I mean, that's going to be a general offensive unit goal for every team in America is let's go start fast. But, you know, that has been an emphasis just looking to last year of one of the other things that we've emphasized is we got to come out of the gate ready to roll, and we got to be prepared. And when things are there, we've got to hit it, and we've got to make routine plays and just all those things. But we need to do that to start the game, and you know, especially at home. And now your crowd's feeding off of it, your defense feeding off of it, and that's what you've kind of seen the last couple of weeks.
conversation about the downfield blocking from your receivers, your tight ends, everybody doing their role. That buy-in from everybody. When did you first really start to see that click and grow within the mindset of this offense?
Yeah, I mean, it became pretty evident that that was going to be something I thought we would be really good at in fall camp. You know, I just think us as a staff, as a unit, as a team, really emphasizing that in fall camp. You could see that, again, us going against our defense every day. I mean, it's a freaking war. And so we had a lot of opportunity to coach that and coach it hard. And those guys know how important that is now. And obviously it's great to be able to put on some game film and you're able to coach it off of the game tape of them doing some really good things in that area for sure. But yeah, I mean, our tight ends and receivers have done some really, really good stuff in the run game the last couple of weeks.
Thinking back to camp, how important was it for this offense's progression to win its share of battles and to get a lot of explosive plays against that defense, just to give the confidence that, hey, we can carry that into the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, that's a big reason why you come to Clemson. And who you're practicing against, if you're a coach here, who you're coaching against on the other side, like just that's one of the big draws about coming to Clemson as a competitor, as a football player, as a football coach, is you get to see that every day, and you got to prepare for it every day and see some of the best of the best. So that's only going to make us better, and that's been a huge part of where we're at this point in time. I would say, I hope it's fair to say on both sides. You know, I think we've made each other better.
How drastic of an improvement would you say the tight ends have made as blockers, Brenning Stool and Olsen, Pat Henry?
Yeah, they've grown a lot, you know, and I thought Brenny took some made some improvement a year ago, and I think he's already made some improvement this year in the few games that we've got on tape so far. But yeah, Olsen's really come on. I've been really, really proud of him, and his role is just continuing to grow. And you know, he's been a guy that I don't want to say I'm surprised by it, but coming here is more of a skilled kind of receiver type from high school, and now you're inserted into the tight end position and what that requires. I mean, there's a lot of learning the way he came in, but he's attacked it. He's one of those guys that's a pro, great mindset, and so he's certainly given us a lot of production here the last couple of weeks.
Ginny, go ahead.
Just professionally, was last year the toughest year of your young coaching career?
I would say probably not. You know, I've been around, and listen, I've been part of staff, so I've been fired twice. You know, everybody thinks it's just been easy. I've been on the other part of it a couple times already in my young career. So I just think I've learned in this profession, really in anything, there's going to be some bad times, and you just got to learn how to take the great value of some of those bad experiences. And I think I've been able to hopefully resonate a little bit with our players as we went through some adversity last year, that stuff's going to happen, and you got to be able to learn from it. And so I really take the same approach from a professional standpoint.
The players, Cade especially,
Talked about how through everything last year, you remained upbeat. You were kind of the voice of reason in the room, and they took their cues from you. Who do you take those cues from? You know, is it being just part of football your entire life? Lincoln, do you ever call him? Coach Sweeney, you know, who do you lean on?
I don't call Lincoln. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, I was just lucky. I was lucky in my background of just the coaches I was around. You know, I mean, my junior high coaches are some of the first people I think about. So I've just been lucky in my upbringing of the coaches that I've been surrounded by. So I mean, there's certainly that point that's shaped me and probably my demeanor as a coach, as a player. You know, but I mean, probably my dad would probably be the biggest one. I mean, he's an even keel person as well, and I'm sure I draw or remind a lot of the people that know our family probably a lot about him.
I'm sorry, you said your junior high coaches. What is that thought that comes to mind? What sticks with you from those days?
They were just always upbeat, you know? I mean, those guys were the reason, or a big reason, of why I love sports. And, you know, as a young kid and all that, I knew I loved sports anyways, but those guys certainly, you know, probably increased my interest in sports early on. But, yeah, I mean, I can name all those guys right now, so.
Do you think about, like, what we're putting up with junior high kids versus what like you're dealing with?
No, I'm glad I'm not putting up with junior high kids. But yeah, they probably put up with a lot more stuff than we put up with. But yeah, just had a great experience growing up with them.
Any questions for Coach Riley virtually?
Hey, Garrett, this is Chapel with the state. You just evaluate the growth in the receiver room from this year, and how much having the two freshmen in has elevated that group, whether that's for them or just competition-wise across the board too.
Yeah, I mean, knew it was going to be a much improved room, the receiver room, and you know, just I think our maturity level, the skill level, the competition that we have. I mean, there's several guys that are productive players that they're fighting and clawing for playing time, and so, you know, I think the competition level is probably the biggest thing that has increased that room, and I think they feel that and feel it every day in practice. So that's number one, you know, and number two is you got a lot of guys that have returned, that have been in the system now for 2 years, that have played some, you know, and then you added some young talent that's going to raise the bar as well. So certainly happy about those two young guys and some of the plays that they've made already. I think they'll just continue to get better and better at a very fast rate. But knew and felt all along like that room would grow pretty drastically from a year ago.
Anybody else for Coach?
How would you assess wide receiver Antonio Williams' performance so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, Antonio's a stud, and he's been practicing that way ever since spring. I mean, ever since spring football, that guy's he's matured. He's about his business. I know guys look up to him because he's dependable. He's consistent. He's obviously a really good player, and so when you have those things, you know, you're probably going to tend to be a leader. And so I've just been really, really proud of his work ethic, and now his work ethic and what he's doing on and off the field is matching his talent level, and so that's what you're seeing now is a guy that's going to continue to get better and better, but certainly happy about his start to the season.
I think you spoke with us during preseason. It was kind of saying that last season his conditioning wasn't what he wanted, he hoped it to be, and this season kind of came in more motivated. Have you kind of seen that from him?
Yeah, no question. Like I said, he's a pro right now, and you know, anytime you get hurt and you basically miss an entire season last year, when you're on the sidelines, that's a hard deal. And I know he's probably not really used to that in his lifetime. And again, kind of a bad situation for him a year ago, but I think he took a lot out of it and kind of took that bad experience and is using it for the better now.
When looking at this offense down the rest of the season, what's something you want to see them improve on to the latter half of the year?
I mean, the biggest thing is just the consistency. I mean, we can't just be really good this week and not so good the next week. And so that's the whole mindset for us right now is there's some flashes of some great things in different areas, situational football, big plays, running the ball, throwing the ball, whatever. But we just got to make sure that we're consistent and we continue to improve. If App State and NC State's the best we play all year, then you know, we're not going to be happy. So we got to be consistent and consistently improve.
3 games in, how has the helmet communication system worked out? And, you know, can you think of an instance where, like, man, I'm really glad we had it right there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, it's really a great tool. Like I told y'all, kind of going into the season, it's played out about how I thought it would. You know, it's been good with little tidbits here and there. Obviously, just minimizing signals from my standpoint is great, but there's also been the few times where I knew it would happen, where it goes out, and in the heat of the moment, you got to adjust and you got to be ready to adapt. So, you know, those things have certainly happened basically every game. And so anyways, but yeah, there's been several times already where it's certainly helped us.
Take a couple more for Coach.
On the against App State, Antonio Williams touchdown, I think Cade switched the route to a post. Is that kind of like another example of Cade just maturation from last season to this season, just making that adjustment, seeing the defense?
Yeah. I mean, just kind of the full plate for him and the ability to check, the ability to change people, the confidence to do that. You know, all those things are kind of working together right now, but I think he's certainly doing that at a higher rate than what we did, you know, a year ago.
Going back to the headset, are you thinking at all about, like, how you're delivering things sometimes? Like, does that go into it? Because you're literally in your quarterback's head in these intense moments?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually talked to a bunch of NFL guys or people that have coached in the NFL over the summer, and that was one of the things I wanted to learn about. I'm sure most college coaches did this. It's not like it was just me. I'm sure everybody did, but that's the thing is you could be really mad from the previous play. Your quarterback missed a throw, he made a bad read, whatever, and you're mad as a play caller, and you're talking to him. And if you're talking to him in a crazy tone, is that optimal for that player? In some instances it might be. Maybe that's what he needs. But in other cases that may kind of cloudy his mind or, get him to second guess or be gun shy or whatever. And so I think there's a little bit of an art to it for sure. And so that was some of the stuff that I wanted to find out this summer, talking to some NFL guys. Good thing is I'm a pretty steady guy, really, no matter what. So I don't think it's going to affect me too much, but I'm sure it does with some other folks in college football.
Take one more for Coach, if anybody has one.
Just trying to get in.
And to know you better, some coaches have like what fans will call Waffle House play sheets, others smaller, some, an 8x11, and you have that small, I don't know if it's a note card or folded paper. How did that come about, and how did you turn that into your system?
Mike Leach, goes back to him. I mean, he had a same call sheet for however long he coached, and so that's kind of how I was brought up when I got to the college game, and that's how I saw a game script and saw how simple it was and all those things. And yeah, I've seen the big ones as well. But yeah, just kind of how my mind works is really going back to that point in time and being around Coach Leach and this system and all that. So trying to, even on a piece of paper, trying to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, even to can we abbreviate this word just so it's not as many letters on there, like just anything and everything, whatever we can cut, trim, and make it simple, we're all about. So even on a call sheet.
All right, appreciate you making time for us, Coach.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.